Fully Ramblomatic Blu-rays Volume 1 and 2 are back in stock at our store. Buy them both and we'll throw in a fridge magnet, so you can ruin the discs with it if you want. I don't know, it's your money. Also, we've got a new I'm Just Not That Into You Human Race t-shirt, and there is no middle finger big enough coffee mug, so you can express contempt for society in two ways simultaneously. Buy now. Actually, watch the video first, then buy. Ah, what a joy it is to finally see an early access game hit its 1.0 release. It's like witnessing a birth of a full-grown man who is already dead and was thoroughly autopsied several years ago. But hey, there's still plenty of unclaimed bits of intestine to toss around and make into balloon animals, so here I am reviewing Palworld, a game that earned a certain amount of fame with its succinct elevator pitch. It's like Pokemon, but where the colourful doe-eyed balloon animal creatures to collect can be equipped with submachine guns. Once you actually get into the game, that pitch has to be qualified a bit. It's like Pokemon, but where like 3 of them can be equipped with submachine guns, and only if you jump through so many fucking hoops you feel like a spider in a bowl of Cheerios. Also, that pitch doesn't mention how much of your time will be spent punching trees, because it's an indie open world game and therefore also has to be a crafting-based building tech tree climbing simulator in accordance with the Treaty of Terraria. I remember thinking when I played it early access on Yahtzee Tries way back when that the experience was a bit anemic. You pick one of about 5 different generic anime faces and then get dropped on top of a grassy hill with the suggestion, hey, go punch some trees and build yourself a house because of reasons. And if you happen to see a spherical sheep, hit it with an axe for different but related reasons. Well, it's still the early access version, I thought. Doubtless they'll add a bit more context to this in the final release, and they do. They remove the words early access from the title screen. Oh, and I picked up a couple of random lore documents from chests, but I was buggered if I was going to stop and read the fucking things, because as an online game that couldn't give 2 chunks of poo from a heavily armed squirrel that I was playing offline, it refused to pause the game when the menu's open. So Palworld didn't have a particularly strong start. I picked a more or less random spot, built a base, captured 5 or 6 frankly pathetic-looking creatures, resembling overgrown inflatable bath toys. I blew out my lips, cast a look around at a vast, extremely uninteresting world extending in every direction that didn't seem to contain anything but small spaced-out groups of 2 or 3 Pokemon, and decided I was done for the day. They're not Pokemon, Yahtzee, they're pals. I'm not going to call them that, Palworld. It's an ease of communication issue. It's like complaining about me saying that I hoovered the living room when technically I Electroluxed it. At that point I was unsure if I would continue with Palworld. I had no idea what I was supposed to be doing in it, and I hadn't recruited a single grenade launcher wielding ferret, but something made me go back for more. That something's name was Editor Nick, who helpfully reminded me that playing it was my fucking job. One of the unique features of Palworld is that yes, you keep a party of Palcomon with you to help brutalize passers-by in the field, but all the ones you have in reserve can be put to work at your creepy Jim Jones ranch manufacturing twigs and berries, not in the euphemistic sense, which is a much more practically minded approach than letting the lazy little fucks sit around in balls flicking their razor leaf storage bulbs all day. And it's not the kind of base management you need to worry too much about. Build them a berry plantation and a food basket and recruit at least one dude with leaves growing out of their head and they'll pretty much take care of themselves. Sort of makes me wonder why the game even bothers to have other kinds of food at all when you can get by perfectly well on berries alone, although you might have to fast track the ventilation upgrade for the base's toilet facilities. So a lot of the time the base can be left to tick along while you explore the world hunting for more higher-level poker pals to enslave and arm like Somalian child soldiers, in the futile hope of capturing one with better AI than a damp sandbag. They couldn't give 2 legally distinct pokeballs when you're trying to capture rather than kill your current target, and will happily punch them into space, drop to the ground and look at you like they're expecting a treat. Or refuse to attack at all because they're trapped between a sloping section of ground and a cubic metre of thin air. Makes you wonder why I went to all that trouble of capturing a giant elephant turtle god the size of a hovercraft with afterburners, when the moment I brought him out for the boss fight I needed him for, he got wedged between a pillar and the outer wall and couldn't move. Oh yes, the boss fights. I'm glad you brought that up, myself. That was where the game clicked a little better for me. I found a tower with a boss fight inside that was like the 2 leads from My Neighbor Totoro set up a tag team wrestling partnership. I could see he was electric type, so I called upon my knowledge of Pokemon, thinking, okay, I saw a ground type around here somewhere, let's be smart about this. But then I thought, or I could just strap this submachine gun wielding chipmunk to my head, and then when he runs out of ammo, bring out this fire-breathing fox for whom I crafted the upgrade that lets me hold him like an assault rifle and make him tactically vomit on things. An upgrade that I assume consisted of 15 McDonald's milkshakes and a vicious punch to the solar plexus. So in the smouldering remains of that boss, I found the fun in Palworld, especially afterwards when the game mentioned there's 7 more of these boss towers scattered through the world if I'm looking for stuff to do. Oh fucking finally, a coherent objective. Glad to hear it, Yards. Now why don't you go over to this village 7 miles away to gather more information on where to find the second boss fight? Or I could just go straight to that very obvious boss tower I can see over there. Well, you were the one who wanted context, asshole! Sadly, the newly ignited prospect of exploring the actually surprisingly large open world, filling out the map, finding all the boss fights and mini-boss fights, and stomping all over them like the inadequately stored away plush toys all over my living room floor that they somewhat resemble, was soured by the continued obligation to go back to the fucking base and craft things. Now, I like a game with two interconnecting gameplay threads, exploration and base management specifically, actually. Sorry, the alters, I'm just talking to the internet, go back to sleep. But around the point of beating the third boss, I just couldn't stand any more fucking ingot farming. You're obliged to keep progressing up the tech tree, because it's the only way to keep your weapons and armor and pal upgrades competitive with the hostiles, and once they get past a certain level, you can get a random pal down to 1 health point, and he'll still react to the basic Pokeballs like you're blowing dandelion seeds at their face. So you gotta have the mega upgraded Pokeballs, and to craft those you need ingots. You need ingots for fucking everything. 100 for a new weapon, 50 for a new crafting station, 75 so you can strap a tactical warhead to a manatee. Ingots that all need to be smelted, and my little fox pals can only work the furnace so quickly. I just got so sick of always having to go back out, find some more, mine it until my trousers are around my ankles with the carry weight, and then waddle back to a fast travel station. So for all its virtues, the fact is I packed in Palworld because I got bored. And that'll do for a final summarising word. Boring. Or possibly ingot.
Modern virtual tabletops do their best to emulate and translate traditional TTRPGs into a digital space, like the absolute rat's nest of adapter cables needed to plug in old hardware to a new computer. But then there's Crucible, a modern TTRPG built specifically for digital play, featuring powerful rules automation, strategic grid-based combat, and beautiful built-in visualization of actions and spells. Crucible is a game system built by VTT heavyweights Foundry VTT. So what do you want to play as? Just a druid? Only a fighter? Simply a wizard? With Crucible, you get to plug your cable in any port, metaphorically. In this metaphor, your character is the cable and the ports are dozens of talents. That's right, there's a classless leveling system that uses a talent tree instead of linear progression, allowing for almost as many character builds as there are USB types. Like USB mini and micro USB are two different connections. Insane. The Crucible system is designed to be intuitive to play without having to memorize a rulebook, with extensive tooltips for all game mechanics and a guided character creation process right inside Foundry VTT. Crucible is where video game streamlining meets TTRPGs. Just like how my 1998 DV camera meets with my new computer, but with like 7 fewer cables.